Welcome back, Transformers fans, to another Beast Wars Top 10. Today, we're taking a look at the most epic moments from the TV show. From the fearsome battles and tense confrontations to moments only possible due to time travel, we are going through the top 10 most epic moments the show had to offer. So strap in, grab some popcorn, and relive the best moments from one of the greatest Transformers shows there is. Number 10, the Energon battle that ushered in the Beast Wars, with fans not only in two minds about not only the new CGI after years of cell animation, but also struggling with going from converting cars to transforming tarantulas in this new era of transforming beast bots. This battle would start the show off right. After their initial conflict, both Maximals and Predacons would find themselves battling on a mountain of raw Energon. Due to the intense power of the Energon, they were forced to stay in their beast modes the entire battle or risk their systems overloading potentially to a fatal end. A great juxtaposition to their first ever encounter, we saw the Transformers in their most feral forms. You have to also consider the Maximals at this point were simply scientific explorers. They were not a team intended for combat. But Megatron's theft of the Golden Disc meant they had no choice other than to do all they could to battle the Predacons. Seeing all 5 members from both teams scratching and clawing at their opposite number, this battle really did set the tone for the rest of the series. This skirmish also went away to appeasing worried Transformers fans over the quality of the new show and helped usher in a new dawn in the Transformers universe. Number 9. The arrival and double cross of Ravage. To see a G1 character play such a pivotal role in the most critical of times in the Beast Wars was simply fascinating. Known by fans of the original series as one of Soundwave's tape cassette minions, the audience certainly wasn't expecting to see him appear here. Originally, he sided with the Maximals and was keen to apprehend Megatron on behalf of the Predacons Council, something he successfully achieved. However, Megatron would use a fragment of the Golden Disc to show his namesake, the Decepticon leader Megatron, urging any future successors to travel back to Earth using transwarp technology as a failsafe should the Decepticons lose to the Autobots. After seeing this, Ravage would turn on the Maximals and align with the Predacons.
Well, the bad news is he switched sides!
It would ultimately be Rat Trap that put an end to Ravage's meddling when he snuck aboard Ravage's transwarp cruiser and laid a couple of well-placed fusion grenades. Ever loyal to the cause, Ravage's last moments would see him proudly proclaiming,
Decepticons forever!
Number 8. Megatron enters the Ark and attempts to kill Optimus Prime. After realizing the future could well and truly be changed, the long-term plan of Megatron was finally revealed. Originally, it seemed as though Megs simply wanted copious amounts of Energon to restart the Great War. This, however, was simply the tip of the iceberg. His real plan was to destroy a dormant Optimus Prime in the hopes it would result in the Decepticons beating the Autobots, and as such, the Predacons would no longer be viewed as second-class Cybertronian citizens. With a little help from the treacherous Black Arachnia, Megatron finally gained entry to the legendary Autobot ship. For G1 fans, this provided a massive nostalgia trip as we got to see legendary bots such as Starscream and Soundwave laying deactivated aboard the Ark. The Predacon leader would then rise up to look directly at the most legendary of Cybertronians, and after a rather self-indulgent speech, would proceed to blast Prime directly in the face, distorting the very fabric of time as we knew it. Whatever you say about Megatron, you certainly can't say he didn't have lofty ambitions. Number 7. Pterosaur's Power Surge. Being the original spiritual successor to the underhanded and power-hungry Decepticon Starscream, Pterosaur was always searching for any opportunity to usurp Megatron and take leadership of the Predacons. No better chance had ever presented itself than when Pterosaur discovered a floating mountain, a mountain that was floating due to its unbelievable abundance of Energon. The transforming pterodactyl would harness this power, and immediately his plan became clear. He was going to confront Megatron for leadership. When he found him, Pterosaur would absolutely annihilate the tyrannical T-Rex. He literally blew him to pieces. Never had we seen Megs utterly destroyed like that, And in that moment, Terrorsaur's reign of terror had begun. The issue he had was, the seemingly unlimited power the Energon gave him didn't last long at all, meaning he would have to keep returning back to recharge. Unfortunately for Terrorsaur, Cheater had also seen this floating mountain and reported it back to the Maximals, meaning both Optimus and Rattrap would endeavor to put an end to it. Whilst Primal distracted Terrorsaur by leading him away from the Energon-rich mountain to battle, Rattrap would plant explosives causing a destructive chain reaction to the mountain. This resulted in Terrorsaur having to return to the Predacons without any enhancement to find a fully rebuilt Megatron waiting for him. Hey, it was nice whilst it lasted, wasn't it, Terrorsaur? Number 6. Dinobot 2's Redemption. After Dinobot's tragic yet honorable death, Megatron was keen to duplicate his elite combat skills without his pesky sense of honor that led him to joining the Maximals in the first place. Cloning Dinobot, this time in a far more advanced Transmetal 2 body, using a part of Rampage's indestructible spark, Megatron had created a fantastic yet terrifying monster to join the Predacon ranks. He served alongside Rampage as Megatron's strongest subordinates. In a rare oversight from the heinous Predacon leader, Megatron never considered what would happen to Dinobot 2 should Rampage ever meet his demise. Although in his defense, Rampage's spark was said to be indestructible. When this proved not to be the case, the memories of the original Dinobot came flooding back to Dinobot 2, and seeing a truly megalomaniac Megatron acting with such dishonor to try and end the Beast Wars with a coward's victory, Dinobot 2 would send the location of a secret Autobot shuttle hidden in the Ark to allow the Maximals to escape Megatron's wrath. Instead of joining the Maximals like Optimus offered, Dinobot 2 would decide to go out with honor and go down with the ship. He died just as his namesake did by helping those who needed it. Number 5. Tigerhawk's Arrival. When the Vok took both Tigertron and Airazor, we thought we had unfortunately seen the last of them forever. And we had. Kinda. After the willful and dangerous disruption Megatron had caused to the time stream, the Vok had no choice but to intervene. They decided to send an emissary, a fusion of the bodies of both Tigertron and Airazor, under Vok control. Tigerhawk quickly showed unimaginable power so great that it meant Tigerhawk could even manipulate the weather. After Tarantulas removed the Vok from Tigerhawk's body, which would ultimately be the end of the treacherous Tarantula and the Vok emissaries, his true personality returned. But his mission to stop Megatron, who was growing more and more dangerous, remained intact. Unfortunately, due to issues regarding whether or not the toy would be released, Tigerhawk's stint in Beast Wars would unfortunately be a brief one, but more than enough time to leave quite the impression. There's no doubt that had Tigerhawk not met his demise from the mythical Decepticon warship the Nemesis, the Beast Wars would have ended slightly sooner and far more definitively, which means the war may never have continued on Cybertron as it did in Beast Machines. Number 4. The Return of Optimus Primal. Season 1 really did end on an almighty cliffhanger, didn't it? With the threat from the Vok that all life on Earth would have to be destroyed, seeing as the Cybertronians had contaminated the Vok's experiment. Both Maximals and Predacons realized their only chance of survival was to join together. This resulted in Primal bravely taking a stasis pod to destroy the Vok's planet Buster. However, if it wasn't clear by now, you can never trust a Predacon. Megatron rigged the stasis pod to stop Primal's escape, ensuring that he would meet his end alongside the planet Buster. But this isn't Optimus we're talking about here. He was never going to be gone forever. Rhinox, with great risk to himself, realized he could potentially find Primal's spark before it fully returned to the Matrix, and bring him back in a new body. With the Maximals' resources depleted so drastically, the Predacons moved in for the kill, with only Rattrap, Cheater, and Dinobot attempting to defend the Axelon and Rhinox. The odds were bleak. Just as all hope was lost, a great explosion would appear, and who was behind said explosion? A new and improved Transmetal Optimus Primal, of course. He would quickly even the odds and eventually see off the remaining Predacons, with a little help from newly crowned Maximal Silverbolt. You really can't keep a good Optimus down for long.
Well, that's just prime.
Number 3. The birth of Optimal Optimus and Primal and Prime coming face to face. Two for the price of one here. As we discussed earlier, with Megatron attempting to alter the past by destroying a dormant Optimus Prime, thus allowing the Decepticons to defeat the Autobots and reign as the rulers of Cybertron, the entire space-time continuum was in jeopardy. After the attack by Megatron, Prime's body and spark were fading quickly, causing a time storm of epic proportions. With time running out, Primal took the ultimate gamble and decided to take Prime's spark into his own body in order to give the other Maximals a chance to save Prime's body. The strain it put on Primal's transmetal body was too much. He simply couldn't handle both sparks. This caused Primal's body to change into Optimal Optimus, his final form in the Beast Wars. His new body now had 4 modes altogether and was now powerful enough to contain Prime's spark as well as his own. After clearing out the remaining Predacons and the Maximals repairing Prime's near fatally wounded body, it was now time to restore Prime's spark to where it belonged. Upon returning Prime's spark, for the briefest of brief moments, both Primal and Prime would look each other in the eye, until order was restored and Prime would go back to laying dormant for another 4 million years. It may have only lasted a few seconds, but seeing the two iconic leaders face to face was no doubt one of the most epic moments of the entire show. Number 2. Depth Charge and Rampage's final duel. No feud in the Beast Wars was ever as personal as this one. Before the Beast Wars, Depth Charge was a security officer on Colony Omicron. He would also end up being the only sole survivor of Colony Omicron when Rampage, then known as Protoform X, would break free and wipe out everyone but Depth Charge. Ever since that moment, the Maximal Manta Ray sought to exact revenge on Rampage. His intense hatred of the former Protoform X would see him traversing time and space just to locate him. Their final battle would fittingly take place underwater, with both bots deriving pleasure from inflicting pain on the other. After an epic battle, Depth Charge would find himself with a raw Energon shard over Rampage's indestructible spark, with Rampage doing all he could to stop the shard piercing his spark. However, for reasons still unknown, and the conjecture of many a fan theory, Rampage would let go of the shard, allowing Depth Charge to destroy them both. Perhaps in his final moments, Rampage enjoyed seeing Depth Charge becoming the monster he spent an eternity hunting. Number 1. Dinobot Sacrifice. We all knew this one was coming, didn't we? The moment that caused many a tear to fall. Beast Wars' most tragic character meeting the most tragic of ends. What made this moment so special wasn't simply what happened, but everything that had led up to it. After Dinobot's brief return to the Predacons, as well as handing back a golden disc to Megatron, Old Lizard Lips was tortured by his internal conflict, knowing the impact and the ramifications of the mistake he had made. With the golden disc, Megatron realized that he could indeed change the past, which in turn would change the future. He would then set out to wipe out early anthropoids in a bid to stop human evolution, which would then prevent humans aiding the Autobots in the Great War against the Decepticons. With the entire Predacon faction ready to annihilate early human life once and for all, Dinobot's opportunity for redemption became obvious. He had to stop the Predacons no matter the cost. Showing all of the Preds just what a natural warrior he was, Dinobot decimated the Predacons one by one, until finally coming to none other than his former leader, Megatron. Already overriding his own system's demand to go into stasis lock to ensure his survival, Dinobot, realizing with a 96% power depletion that he would never be able to defeat Megatron, bravely used his last remaining power to shatter the golden disc. In his final moments, he did indeed ensure the survival of early humans, and in doing so, found his redemption. We're not crying. You are. So there we have it. The most epic moments in Beast Wars. Do you agree with our list? Would you have chosen Dinobot's tear-jerking death at number 1? Or is there a moment from the show even more epic in your opinion? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to watch our other Beast Wars content. Hit that like and subscribe button whilst you're there. Until next time, transform and roll out. Wait, wrong Optimus. Until next time.
Maximals!